Hey everybody, how you doing? We are back with a Saturday afternoon sales show. We've got Dexter Vines going to be joining us shortly. Nice to see number one Marvel fan and Mr. Easy Go Lucky. My steadfast first two in the chat, I'd say most regularly, more often than anybody else. Hey Tom, always good to see you. I'm sure you're busy at work at the warehouse on a Saturday afternoon, but it's good to have you here. And we've before the show started, I hopped into what site did I go to? Comics.org. They always put like birthday announcements at the beginning of that on the homepage of that website anymore. And today it is Sergio Aragone's 88th birthday and Mike Zeck's 76, 77, something like that. So interesting that they both share the same birthday, given the fact that they are two incredible legends, in the business. I thought that was pretty cool. But I wonder if they know that they share the same birthday. Probably not. But hey, let me bring in the gentleman that we haven't seen since the end of 2024. I think it's been a little while, Mr. Dexter Vines. Hey, Dexter, how you?
Hey, how's you doing?
Uh, you know, it's always fun around here. Always something going on.
Playing in the
Uh,
piles and piles of original artwork.
I
You
wish
have
I
all
was.
that.
No,
I could
I wouldn't say
imagine
that,
your
but
house must be like a museum over there.
no, I wish it was. I mean, it's not like I've got some friends whose homes are like going into museums, in this hobby, and I've certainly some dealers' houses you could walk into and be, you could probably spend a whole weekend there and not even see a thimble full
Yeah.
of what they've got. But yeah, no. But how you been? I see, we're used to seeing your usual back wall with the posters and the
Oh yeah.
bookshelf, and here we have like
Yeah.
this gothic looking space that
Oh
you're
yeah,
in.
yeah. I'm staying with family. I put that house on the market. So yeah, unfortunately that old downsizing. So yeah, my old studio, I miss it for sure. So, but yeah, now I'm just kind of chilling with family till I get the household, and
Awesome.
so it is what it is. So,
I get
um,
it. Well, hey, change is always good, but
yeah, yeah.
moving is
I've been
never
there
easy.
almost 20 years, so yeah, I had a good run there. So,
Well, that's awesome. Are you looking to buy in the area, stay in the same, in the same
I'm
kind of
not sure.
space?
I'm probably going to stay in the area. I'm not sure about buying another house immediately. I may just rent
Mhm.
for a little while because there's always a possibility of going elsewhere, but more than likely we'll stay in the Atlanta area, at least
That's good.
initially, for sure.
Right. Right. We still have a lot of industry friends in the Atlanta area, I believe, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely a lot of people here. Used to be more, but yeah, definitely still a pretty good art community here.
That's good. Yeah, we were talking about selling homes before the show started. I remember, having to clean them out. It's such a pain in the rear end, and like even this house that I bought, everybody like makes the house look better than it probably is. They actually had what did
Yeah.
they have? Like, there's a big room in the house, and they probably didn't know what to do with it when they owned the house, but they rented a pool table. I mean, it was
Uh,
literally on like caster rollers when they were showing off the house, and because I said, "Does the pool table stay?" Of course, when we were buying it, and they're like, "Oh no, we're just renting that to make this
right.
look good."
Just to give some people some ideas, you can have this be your game room, your man
Exactly.
cave.
Right. Because there's this big
Yeah,
space. It's like, what are you gonna do in there? So here, we'll
yeah.
give you an idea, but it's not yours.
Mhm.
S So what have you been up to? I mean, we haven't talked since, I think, like, late November
Yeah,
of
yeah, it's been a minute.
2024.
Yeah, I've been just doing the artist thing, been doing some conventions, trying to I just started on a project. I don't know how much I can say about it, but with AWA with Marshawn Lynch,
Oh, cool.
aka Beast Mode. So just starting on that project. So that's fun. Um but yeah, just doing conventions. I'm going to Salt Lake City in a couple of weeks. For what was it, Fan X, I think. And then I'm doing GalaxyCon in Milwaukee. I just signed on for that show in I think it's October, November, somewhere in there. So
Great.
just doing a few more shows and just working, when I can. Like I say, the same old the artist life.
Mhm.
Freelancing when you can and doing conventions. Same or doing commissions. I just did a cool Brian Hitch Hulk commission, which was fun. Um, and that was cool because Brian has always been, he's one of those people I've always wanted to work with.
Hmm.
Just never had got a chance. We actually hung out years and years ago at CrossGen. They were wooing him, trying to get him to come to CrossGen, and he came out and spent like a week or two. I want to say he hung out with us while he was still working at Marvel. I think he was still working on some Ultimate stuff. And so yeah,
CrossGen
we got the
couldn't sway him, huh?
couldn't swing him. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he came. Like I said, they brought him out. He hung out for like a week or two, and then went back to Jolly O, England. I hadn't seen him since. So
Yeah, he's a good guy. So how did this piece come about? Did somebody have Hitch pencils that they wanted
yeah,
inked?
they had pencils. Hitch had actually started inking one of the arms,
Hmm.
and I don't know what happened, but the guy bought it, and the rest of it was pencil. Other than the feet, I had to draw in the feet. So he contacted me and asked me, would I be interested in finishing it? So yeah, I quoted him. He agreed, sent me the piece. I inked it up, drew in the feet, and inked those, and you know, got it done. But yeah, real fun piece. I would love to work with Brian one day on something. He's always been one of my favorites.
Well, that's awesome.
So
I mean, yeah, I've seen pieces for sale, and I maybe even bought a piece or two where, it's partially inked or just getting started. So have you gotten requests like that in the past where something's begun but not completed, and
yeah,
and
I've gotten a couple of those over the years where yeah, maybe the penciler started inking it and for whatever reason didn't finish it, or he gave it to this person, or the person bought it and then asked me to finish it. So yeah, I've gotten a couple of those. This has been the first one in a while, but it does happen on occasion.
awesome. Well, one way or another, to get to work with somebody whose work you like, that's never a bad thing.
Never, definitely, definitely. So hopefully I try to send it to him. And it's like, hey, Brian, it's just, if ever, you
He
know.
probably wouldn't mind that. I mean, at the end of the day, I know he works with a couple people in the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah.
He had that Superman book that Nolan inked. That
Yeah, yeah.
last.
Just I found out. I just actually just did a inking panel with Kevin a few weeks ago in San Jose. And he mentioned that. So I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get out and get because I may go to the comic shop once a year now.
Mhm.
So I definitely need to keep that in mind and go grab that for sure.
So what was the panel about with Kevin?
It was a panel on inking.
Yeah.
So and just the I would say I tell people it seems like it's the twilight of the inkers because definitely more and more. I think we probably mentioned this in the past. More and more people either inking themselves or doing everything digital. So it's definitely getting harder and harder to find work as an inker for sure. So um, I probably doing so it's probably just doing more and more conventions and
Hmm.
till I get something, but it balances out. Like I said, I got a project now, which is cool. I have that till probably on this till next year. So, but I'll definitely be doing more and more shows in between, finding gigs. So, but that is the artist life. It just seems like there's more time in between gigs now. It seems like I
Right.
think back
Right.
in the day, it was rare that I would go, a couple of weeks without, a project. And now you can, it can be a month or so, if not longer.
Well,
But
that's
luckily there's conventions,
unfortunate.
yeah, and my website, selling, and things like, you make things like this available to artists, to
Hmm.
sell artwork. So there's, definitely little avenues. You just have to, you know, stay on it and, it's just, as they say, the hustle of the artist. So it's just doing that from, working on projects, going to conventions, just doing whatever you can.
Sure. So did Kevin kind of say the same thing? Like inking, concerns for the future of finishers in the
But
business
yeah,
because
definitely. Because he's actually, I think he even said he's kind of semi-retired in a
mhm.
way.
He has, yeah, he's hit that age. I mean, it seems like, he has a still has a passion for the
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
but
So, because I've seen him more at conventions than ever, lately. So, which is always cool to see Kevin. So that's good.
That's good. I was just going to throw a link in the chat because I don't recall if I put it in the show description or not, but just as a reminder for what your website address is, Dexter Vines Inkworks at Big Cartel or .bigcartel.com. Yeah, there we go. Now it's out there. Okay. Yeah, because you do have stuff for sale through the website, and that's how people can contact you for commissions or
Yeah.
finishing
So that's
pieces
why I get,
that
yeah,
weren't
people will
finished
email me.
originally.
Yeah. So either that or they can hit me up through my Instagram direct message. Either way works.
Awesome. So yeah, I was looking at so you've had a bit of a where you haven't done a lot of at least not a lot of work has come out in the last few months or something, right? That you've been able to put your hands on. I think like the last major stuff you worked on was with Genty and Star Wars related. Is that
Yeah,
true?
Star Wars stuff. Yeah. I just did a cover a few weeks ago with Steve McNiven,
Oh
and
wow.
I didn't realize the 20th anniversary of Civil War is next year. So I was like, wow, has it been 10, 20 years? It's crazy. So yeah, I just did that. So that'll be out, I guess, like I said, I think next year at some point, because I think
Hmm.
Steve is going over to DC. Um, so this was like one of his last things he did before his Marvel deal ended. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot
yeah.
of people remember that work fondly, as you know,
Yeah,
Dexter.
yeah. I've been signing a lot of those books. Actually, they just put out, somebody brought up to me, I was at Dragon Con last week. Somebody brought, they doing like a foil edition of Civil War #1, which is really cool. So I got to track some of those down and get some for myself. So, but yeah, it's like 20 years. Like, wow, how time
Yeah, we're all
flies.
getting old. That's
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it was funny. I think like 3 weeks ago there was a DPS from Civil War by Ewan McNiven, and can't remember what was it. I think it was a Spidey page from it as well, and we featured both of them on the CAF update because they were such phenomenal pieces of art, right? I mean, the
yeah.
moment DPS with them, with Cap and Iron Man kind of facing off, or I
Oh
think
yeah, yeah.
near the end of the battle, right? And then the other one was like Spidey, like 6 images of Spidey leaping and bouncing
Oh,
around,
okay, yeah, yeah. I always love when
and
artists,
slugging
do those
Reed
kind
in
of
the face.
shots. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's exactly. Well, it's just fun, that it just shows you how great that book was, and then McNiven's stuff was fantastic, and your work over him just made it all the better. And when you work on projects like that, I mean, do you kind of realize how important it is at the time you're working on it, or is
I did. Well, what the first thing that made me think it was like it's going to be big. They did tell us like this is going to be Marvel's, big summer thing, which I
Mhm.
was like, all right, cool. But and I don't think I've seen it done before or since. They did like they started a countdown clock, like till the book release, like at 24. It was just going like counting down to the release of the book, and I was like, I've never seen that done before. Um, so that's when I thought, okay, all right, this is going to be pretty big. They got like a countdown clock going. And so yeah, it was cool. So yeah, when it came out, yeah, definitely, I was like, all right, yeah, this is pretty big and pretty cool to be a part of.
Right, right. No, I can only imagine. I mean, clearly when they're doing stuff like that, they're vested in it in a way that they might not normally be with just, whatever's coming out that month. That's they're
Yeah.
trying to make a splash with that. But when that I would imagine like that artwork was in high demand when
Yes.
after the
Yeah.
books came
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that would
Yeah.
have
So
been fun.
yeah,
Did
that
you get to
stuff
do
people
any
jumped on.
uh-huh. Did you get to do any like signings and things with McNiven when that
Yeah,
stuff was
we've
coming out?
signed. Yeah, back when it came out, yeah, we did a ton of signings. Um, I remember going to England for a show, and I felt like I signed every Civil War in the UK. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, it's definitely out there. So it's definitely something cool to be a part of for sure.
Sure. Yeah, too bad you probably weren't charging like $20 a signature. You could have been
Right.
set for the
These
rest.
back in the days when I was still signing for free. So it's like, oh, if I only knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, times were a little different 20 years ago than they are, than today, where we're it's big money, right, on
Yeah.
signatures and grit versus graded signatures, and
Oh yeah, now the celebrities have come into the convention. Yeah, it's weird how the comic book convention scene has changed over the years.
yeah,
It's like either it's a celebrity show or is it a comic show or it's a little bit of a mix, or anime show. So yeah, there's a little bit of everything out there. And there's probably every weekend now, there's probably six or seven, decent sized shows going on around the country, if not around the world. So
yeah. No, that is very true. Yeah, but and you said you're going to GalaxyCon. Where was that
it's
one?
in Milwaukee, I
Milwaukee.
believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
in a
So
few months.
yeah, and then a couple of weeks I'll be in Salt Lake City for
Okay,
Fan X. So yeah, yeah, should be fun.
fantastic.
Just getting there is the sure. Once I'm there, it's cool. It's just packing up and taking all your stuff and flying and all that stuff can be a headache and a pain. But once you're there, it's all good.
Sure. Now, I got a question for you on the blue line side of things too, because we've talked about it before, but I know that, like when do you feel like you started inking blue lines with some regularity, right? Because I know they've been around for a while, but
Yeah.
when was that point when the publishers weren't, started feeling like they didn't need to like overnight pencils to the finishers? Is that um, you know, was that just because of deadlines and all that kind of thing? Like, did it
I
really
think it was a
spur
little
from
bit
that?
of both. Yeah, I think once the technology was there, it was one of those like, well, why don't we just? So I think about 10 years ago is when I noticed it starting to happen.
Mhm.
And initially, it was just whenever I would work with somebody in a different country, um, they would just send me the files and I would print it out blue line. Um, Now it can be, but generally, still, if I work for somebody in the states and they pencil on paper, I'll generally still get it. Like George's, pretty much everything I've worked with George's has been directly over his pencils.
Mhm.
But like I said, generally, if they live in a different country, they'll just send me the files. Like I said, over the years, I think now, yeah, you can just save on the FedEx bills, and you say we'll just send you we'll just send you the file and print it out. So and so now it just depends on the project.
Right.
Um, but generally, if it's Marvel or DC, I'll still usually pencil over the ink over the pencils. The Steve McNiven cover, the Civil War cover, I ink that over Steve's pencils.
Right.
So it still
That's great.
happens. So it's just it's like I said, it just depends on the artist and the situation.
Exactly. So when they started sending you the files, the digital files, did they I don't suppose they offered to buy, a nice size printer for you to print on, or at least
No, no.
or
Generally, at least luckily, I already had that. It was the main thing is paper. So if
oh,
it's
that's fair.
Marvel, DC, or Dark Horse, they all have their own paper. So at
Mhm.
least you can say, "Hey, send me some paper," and so I'll just have to pay for ink, to get them printed out. But other than that, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Um, and it did definitely help save time. So I definitely why they do it. I can't remember the last time I've been to FedEx, pages, to Marvel or DC, like back in the day. I was at FedEx seemed like every couple of days.
Mhm.
Now it's just like I hardly ever go. Usually now, especially when you keep the artwork, you know, well, me and the artist, I just sit on the artwork until the book comes out, and then me and the artist will um, handle it and just divvy up the artwork like that. So,
Yeah, you talked about how you and Genty would just go out for a coffee or lunch and
but yeah,
put the art
yeah,
on the
we'll just
table
meet
and figure
somewhere.
out the
Yeah,
split.
and we'll just hand and we'll just do the schoolyard picks and until we got them all picked out. So yeah, those are pretty easy. And yeah, with the blue line stuff, I just keep it all. So that stuff is pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is a different time certainly, that we are in now versus the early days. But that's it's to be expected. There's a lot of I get contacted by digital artists through CAF a lot, asking if they can post their stuff there. I always tell them no, because it's really for traditional work, right? You
Right.
can't post digital files, or even more importantly, a lot of those guys, they don't even want to show that. They want to show like something that they've printed out,
Right.
and I'm like, well, it's kind of a gray area with the bigger IPs or the bigger publishers, because they don't like prints of any kind on our site. It's like the only times I've
Hmm.
been contacted by Marvel or DC's attorneys is when there's a print on there.
Oh,
you know,
really?
if it's remarked, it's one thing, but if like an
Hmm.
artist puts up a bunch of prints that they've done, they
Themselves.
yeah, they
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they know, right? I mean, are they literally
Yeah.
checking out Comic Art
Yeah,
Fans
they probably
every
just
day?
got people, that's their job is to
But
scan the
I think
websites.
so. Yeah, right. Because
Yeah.
they probably, they're on retainer
Yeah.
for them, right? So they probably got somebody that hits all the major social sites, and any
Yeah.
place that they know where people post artwork and images like that. And yeah, that's and it's always like the most threatening kind of emails, because they contact you through your host company, the host of
Oh.
our servers, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they contact them, and then they have to contact me and say, Bill, if you don't take this stuff down, we have to turn off the bandwidth to your
Got you.
servers. So it's pretty like, yeah, I'll take care of that right away.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is a little different, but yes, Marcus, we are posting digital files to Comic Art Fans all the time. Yes, scans, photos from our phones. I know you're just being cheeky in the chat right now, but yes, no, no, no. It's artist digital artworks that we're talking about there. But yeah, no, that's it's interesting that how all
Yeah.
that works, and people protecting IPs and everything.
Yeah, actually
But
somebody at Dragon Con, there was an artist who was selling AI artwork and they called the cops and got this guy kicked out of the show. I was
I
like,
saw that.
wow. Yeah.
Well, that's it.
So
Obviously that's you're taking money from people who work traditionally, and
yeah, that
who
was
work
interesting. I
properly.
was like, wow, hadn't heard of that happening before. So that's cool. Hopefully we have more of that. Get that AI out of here. So
Exactly. They had a similar thing going on at Fan Expo Toronto, I think a couple weekends before that. You know, silly kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, sometimes people don't realize the harm that stuff has, but it's the creators that know it more
right.
than anybody.
Hmm. I remember, was it a few months ago when all of a sudden I guess somebody put in Miyazaki's work into the AI algorithm. Like all of a sudden I was seeing all this AI Miyazaki type
Avitate,
artwork. It was
right?
everywhere. You know, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, cool! Somebody's doing a Miyazaki kind of rip." And then I saw another one and another one and another. I was like, "Oh, this is something else." You know. So that's when I realized, oh yeah, then out on somebody done fed, a bunch of Miyazaki artwork, and I don't know how these things work, but into
Yeah, they
the
made like a
algorithm.
one where you could update your avatar, right, on your socials or something, so you could make yourself
Mhm.
into a
Oh, okay,
Miyazaki
look like a
character.
Miyazaki, yeah.
Yeah, like it was drawn by the studio, and then yeah, I think that got squashed pretty quickly.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I know that was. I saw a little letter, a cease and desist kind of a deal going out. So crazy.
yeah,
But
it is. My personal wish would be that at some point they find a way just to well, they can't. I'm sure they can't turn it off. The
yeah.
whole genie back in the bottle sort of thing. However,
Hmm.
there has to be some kind of guidelines for all of that, because they're claiming fair use on your creations and your artwork, but
Right.
eh, yeah. So yeah, but hey, what is it? Disney and a few others have brought bigger cases against some of the uh, the AI companies. So hopefully
Yeah.
that'll result in
I'm just
something
saying
positive
we'll be
for
hearing more and more of these cease and desist and suits and things in the near future, I'm sure.
exactly like Wesley says. It sounds fun, and then they get carried away. Yeah, well, everything sounds fun when it's easy, and
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, you know, it comes back to there should be no shortcuts in life at any level, right? You usually get anybody who embarks on a path of least resistance usually runs into a wall at some point, whether that's Marvel's legal department or you know,
Yeah,
or something along those lines that says, you know, that's not right, can't be done.
yeah.
So let's see. Yep, Brian Bailey. Yeah, it'll take a few years to figure out. We agree. But until that time, we won't have you know, certain things allowed to be posted to CAP for varying, you know, for varying reasons and everything. And at the end of the day, you know, we support traditional artists. We want more artists working traditional, you know, even if it's not like 100% of their workflow, we'd rather see more traditional work continue to be you know,
Right,
created, posted to CAF. You know, you can never say you can be, you know, the times change, but you know, as a person who collects original art, I mean, we wouldn't have anything to collect.
right. Exactly,
So, so hobby will be
exactly.
over. You know, well, at least new art will be out of our wheelhouse to purchase, and you know, I don't know how that would affect the, you know, the work that's been done traditionally. Will it go up in value because it's not a, you know, because it becomes more rare, et cetera? Who knows what
Right.
the implications would be?
Like there's nothing like holding that comic book in your hand, that artwork in your hand.
Mhm.
So hopefully, I don't think it'll ever die, but it's gonna have to fight for a little bit, it seems.
Yeah,
So
that is true. Tyler Ellis says he can use Copilot at work to turn my emails into poems. That's all. Yeah, I mean, it's odd. I mean, I was experimenting with just video editing stuff the other day, and you know, I could take an hour-long interview that I did, and the program will create 20 clips and put the words on, you know, as part of the clip. So literally, you don't even have to know how to
wow.
video edit anymore. You know, it may not
Yeah.
be perfect, but it's just crazy. You just go in and say, yeah,
Right.
do this for me. So you don't have to think. I don't, you know, and it can make work for you. So yeah, it's not.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah.
so you know, we could show off the artwork we got here. It's a Saturday
Okay.
afternoon too, unless you know, but I don't, but yeah, we might as well do that. We can show. We have 15 pieces of art for sale today, and I think 9 pieces are with traditional pencils under it. Others, the other 6 are blue lines or kind of you know, pieces that you've worked over from a couple artists in the past.
Yeah.
And Tom McDonald, yes, I agree with you. And so yes, we'll show those off. And you know, if anybody who's not familiar with our shows here, if anything doesn't get sold, we'll send out a mailing after the show. And also, and you're more than welcome to shoot an inquiry to me, Bill at comicartfans.com, and we can take care of anything that you know, that may or may not have sold, and we'll work things out with you. Wesley, see, we got he's coming to our OAX show in February. Awesome. Glad to have you coming in the show for the first time. There will be the whole CAF team will be there, and probably a bevy of volunteers this coming show as well. But let me go ahead and show our usual slides here, Dex, as far as how we handle sales shows here for those who are not familiar. We got you know, I've got all the art in hand, and sales will happen in the chat. So if you see a piece of art you like, there's a lot number on each slide that we showed today. You just type claim and the lot number in the chat, hit enter, and that's how you can claim a piece of artwork. Any artwork that you've claimed, you just shoot an email to us after the show, sales@comicartfans.com, and we'll take care of you. If you can pay with Zelle or Venmo, personal check, cash coming over to my house, we'll take all of those and not charge you a fee. But if you do need to use PayPal, we do charge a 4% fee for U.S. residents and 5.5% for international. And let's see what else we got here. The prices don't include shipping, as you might have expected. Domestic shipping is 35, international 70, and we handle all the fulfillment here because I have the artwork. We ship rather well in Masonite, and it's a solid way of shipping artwork. And what else can I tell you? Well, you can combine on shipping if you want. Obviously, if you buy all 15 pieces, we'll still just charge you $35 if you're in the U.S. So that's one way to look at it. What else? One line I always forget to add to that slide is that for those of you who are watching on YouTube, which I think we're only streaming on YouTube today. Facebook failed when I clicked start today.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, Facebook's been kind of
uh,
weird of late with these streams. I don't know why. It gets it's peculiar, but
yeah.
it is what it is. Um, there is a live link directly underneath my name there. What is it? Right over here, right there. So if it's in the corner of the browser window, if you click the live button, that'll get you as live as everyone else in the chat. And yeah, anyway, it gives you it makes you as have a fighting chance of with anybody else who's might want to claim any artworks today. And Wesley, it would be 2026 26 next year, not not anything else. And Marcus says if you were to buy all 15 pieces, shipping should be free. Marcus, you were full of ideas today. You know,
uh,
it's very interesting. Not a terrible idea. Hey,
hey, if Marcus buys all 15 pieces, I'll cover the shipping.
that's
So,
right.
how about that?
I like that idea, Dex. Yeah, see,
So,
that's yeah, we can work with a lot of different stuff here. Um, but all right, well, cool. We can just start showing some slides, and we can chat throughout all of this. And
yeah, if
you did
anybody
pick
have
up,
any questions, shoot them on.
yeah, and I know you picked a couple pieces that were a little bit. I don't think we've seen any like impulse work before. I know that you've,
Oh, yeah, that's
the
back in my old 90s. Uh,
exactly. I know,
and
and
you can see
I was just
the lettering is on the page. So, that's another telltale that is from the
the
90s.
So did I would imagine those pages in your personal files are shrinking slowly, right? I mean,
Yes. So, there's a few here and there. Yeah, yeah. But back in the day, they would if they wouldn't tell you this, but at least with DC, if you got pages unlettered, you could they would pay you extra, like like $15 extra a page if there wasn't any lettering on the page. But they
why
wouldn't
was
do that
that?
unless but you had to know to ask for that. They wouldn't volunteer that information. So
That doesn't
uh,
that doesn't make any sense.
all right.
That's so how many pages did you get that were not lettered that you didn't get the extra money because you didn't know to tell them?
I'm not even sure now, but it was rare that I got this back in the 90s. It was rare that you got pages not unlettered. So it was weird when we started getting pages that didn't have any lettering on it. In
Hmm.
the late 90s, early 2000s, when they started doing it after the fact. So, but yeah, that
Interesting.
was just one of those weird little things from back in the day.
No, that's the first
So
time I've ever heard that.
yeah.
Let me see, bro. Before we get started, Brian Bailey had a question about the masonite. He says, "Will you use tempered or untempered?" I don't know which the difference is. It's super smooth on one
This man
side.
knows his masonite.
Yeah, it's super smooth on
Uh,
one side, and it's got that texture on the other. But I don't know. When I used masonite to paint on when I was an art student back in the late '80s, once you gesso it up, it almost didn't matter
yeah,
even what side you were painting it on, right? Because once the gesso was thick and dried, it was all right.
yeah.
Let's see here. But yes, Brian, while I always encourage people to reuse the masonite to reship their artwork that they might be shipping one day, if they want to reuse it for painting, right, that's okay too. Just don't throw it out. It costs too much money.
All right.
All right, well, let's get this thing started. So first up, we have we're showing the traditional pieces first. I should let everybody know the first 9 pieces are all done with pencils were on the board. The last 6 are not. So we have a Ed McGuinness Nova page from issue 4, page 13, and I found the published image to show that as well. McGuinness, you've done a lot of work with Ed over the years. Ed's amazing. I think he's one of the one of my if I had to put a top 3 Hulk artist lists out there, Ed would certainly be on it. He
Definitely,
draws one of the
definitely.
meanest looking Hulks out there.
Yeah, big muscly dudes is like just his wheelhouse. So yeah, the Hulk is like, yeah, just perfect. So yeah, when they brought up, yeah, we're gonna do this Red Hulk thing, it was like, all right, yeah, that's perfect for Ed. So
Yeah. No. So what was I think Nova was like a 6 or 8 issue like a mini
now I think
series.
it was ongoing, but yeah, we only
Was that
did the
ongoing?
first 6 issues.
Okay.
um, if I remember correctly.
Maybe that's why I'm thinking that, like, you guys worked on it together for just a limited amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, but it was ongoing. So yeah, we just kicked it off when they brought it back. Because I think we
Wow.
even did like a little the year before we did like a little short story that appeared in like this special Nova annual. It was like Nova Point One, something like that. And we did like a little short story in that. And then I guess that's what a year later, um, this Nova project kicked in, and they asked us to kick it off. So
Mhm. So when you were working for, say just on books like these, did Marvel send you, published copies of the book at all? Like, just
yeah,
to have
Marvel
it?
generally will send you generally send you like 3 copies, like a
Okay.
week after the book comes out. DC, you'll usually get a box of 30 the week before it comes out. So it's a little different. You definitely get way more comps from DC than you do from Marvel. But yeah,
It's
they will
almost not
send you a
fair.
few, right?
Yeah, I would've.
So, but
And
in
does,
the end, it's
Jim
good
Lee
because you
sign
realize you're
everyone
sitting on all
that you
these
get?
books.
Is there, like is there something nice like that in it, or just, "Here's your 30 comp copies?"
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be the perk, to get the, get the, president to sign some things there, but,
yeah,
oh, well. 3 copies for Marvel, that's kinda disappointing.
right. Yeah, yeah. So
Alright, well, so this is lot 1 with, the Nova pencils with McGinnis, by McGinnis and, Dex's ink on it, and what do we got for lot number 2? Lot number 2 is it's we've had a few, you've worked with Pacheco, before he passed, a fair amount,
yeah,
and we've I think every show that we've done with you, you've always had a page or 2, that Carlos did, and so this is the only one we have today. It's from, Ultimate Thor, issue 4, page 16, priced at $200. Um, but, did you and Carlos get to meet in person,
no, I
often?
never met Carlos in person.
No.
He was in Spain, so we only talked through email. And I never got a chance to hang out with him at a convention anywhere. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we only got to talk through via email.
Well,
But yeah, love his
he's
stuff.
so talented. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was looking at, um, some of the past stuff that we had sold, and then I kinda went down a rabbit hole on Calf. Yeah, he had a wonderful sense of composition, but his figures are just so
yeah,
well defined, and, and it just seems, uh, yeah. No, I mean, I love his stuff.
yeah. Such fun stuff. Yeah, I had a blast working on him on Ultimate Thors and Ultimate Avengers. Um, so yeah, definitely glad I got to work with him.
Yeah, this is a nice page, and then, Marcus says that DC needs higher circulation numbers, that's why they'd send out more copies. Marcus is on fire today, I don't know what he's gonna do after the show, but, yeah. But anyway, so, I don't, because I actually didn't go back and, check the how many issues of Ultimate Thor that you worked on with Carlos. Was this, another, like, short run with him?
Yeah, it was a short run. It was only 3 or 4 issues.
Okay.
So of each, I think we did a few issues on Ultimate Thor and a few issues on Ultimate Avengers. And again, it's just all blends together now. It's been so long now. Um, but I think it was like 3 or 4 issues each, from
Mhm.
what I remember anyway.
Cool. Well, this next one is that impulse page we were talking about, and, I think this was like an oversized issue of some kind, right? Was that
Oh,
correct?
right. Yeah, yeah. So I think it was like a one shot.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It looked fun. I read through up until I got to page 17 here. So
Yeah, yeah.
so these are Popmon pencils and your inks. We got this one priced at $400, and, everything is on 11 by 17 today as well, everybody, just so you're aware of that. Um Yeah, no, there's not
And
one
you got
page.
the classic word balloons on the page. You don't see that too often these days.
Exactly. You were guaranteed to be paid a little less for this one because of that,
Yes. Or just the regular rate.
or just the regular rate,
Yeah,
right? No
yeah,
bonus.
yeah. You didn't get the extra. Yeah, yeah, no extra on this page.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Impulse was always a fun read. I did. Well, I've never. Everybody knows I was never a big DC fan. I did actually pick up a few copies of Impulse from time to time. Just a
Yeah.
fun
They haven't done
character.
anything with him lately, have they? I haven't noticed any
I don't believe
impulse.
so. But then
Maybe they
somebody
have to.
in the chat will let me know. Brian Bailey still is an avid reader. He probably can correct us. Let us know. But no, it's always good to see the pages with the word balloons on here and Popmon artwork. There's a fair amount of Popmon artwork on CAF. So let's
Yeah.
take a look at lot number 4. Get that posted on the screen. Let me switch over to that. So we have a Batwoman issue 40 page with Genty pencils on this one. And
Yeah.
this was kind of funny because it's page 20, but it's actually the title page for the book.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading through
Because
that one
initially I
today.
was like, is this a I thought it was a cover. I was like, was this an opening splash page? I didn't even remember. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, page 20. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's not the norm to drop it. I think there was still a couple extra pages in the book before it ended, but yeah, his figure work is always really nice.
Yeah. 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 We got into business around the same time. Um, so it almost I feel like it was almost like me and George just kind of grew up in the industry together. Um, and we met through Dave Johnson.
Oh,
George's
really?
moved to Georgia to Dave's studio is in North Georgia, and I went up one time to hang out, and that's when I met Georges for the first time, and we just started talking and hanging, and then started doing some stuff with DC together, and we've been partnered up on and off ever since. So
You remember what your first work was with Georges?
it was probably some Green Lantern stuff. I know we did this Green Lantern 3D book. That was might have been our first project. I know the first thing we did together, we did he did a Superboy pinup that I inked. And I think that was the very first thing we ever worked on. But officially, I think it was that Green Lantern 3D
Hmm.
um from like it's like mid to late 90s when this came out, somewhere in there. Because the first book I ever worked on was Green Lantern. It was Green Lantern Annual. Um, so I was kind of in that Kevin Dooley wheelhouse for a little bit. So yeah, I got a few Green Lantern projects.
Hmm. Do you save any pages from your first book?
Surprisingly, no. I only inked 6 pages,
Oh,
and I do not. I have like the first one of the first covers I inked over Joe Phillips, which was a Legion's annual, and I still have that cover. And I have the very first thing, which was a trading card I inked for Wildstorm over Joe. I still have that. So I got a few of those early things here and there, collecting dust in file cabinets. So
well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, hold on to them. I would say,
yeah,
Dexter.
yeah,
There's a lot of Legion fans out there, and there's a lot of card art collectors out there, and and there's not enough of Joe's work out there. So all those things combined for, uh, you know, uh, they're definitely those kind of pieces are always going to be interesting and of interest to collectors. But hey,
yeah,
clearly you've held on to them because they're probably good memories, and the artwork's great
yeah,
too.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
All right, we're gonna switch artists here. We're gonna switch over to Jason Pearson, and we've had some of these Wade Wilson War pages from Deadpool before.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
this
yeah,
this one's kind of fun though, right?
yeah.
You get Deadpool getting blasted and still giving the well, it's not necessarily the thumbs up, but
Yeah, yeah,
continue on in this one.
yeah, yeah. Good old bullseye, and Was it
Oh,
Silver Sable?
I think it had a different. She had a different name in the book, but
Uh,
yeah, I can't remember. I should have wrote it down. It
Yeah.
was no, I'm not going to remember. I don't want to throw a name out there. But yeah, the way Pearson's artwork was just, was always kind of infused with kind of a manga anime style that was just kind of cool, but also, I don't know, even like sort of a like, I don't know, graffiti-ish. I mean, he
Yeah,
had just
kind
an
of
energy to it,
gritty,
right?
kind of, yeah. Jason stuff, just, I can't, just love Jason stuff. So yeah, when he asked me to, like, say, the first two issues of this, I ghost inked it a bunch of pages. So when he asked me to ink the last two issues, I was like, of course, you know. So yeah, I couldn't wait.
Oh, did you not get credit? There was one of the pages in the set here when I was trying to find the published stuff. It didn't say that it was
Yeah, I
inked
didn't
by.
get it for. Yeah, I just ghost inked the first two issues. Well, some
Okay.
of, like, probably half of the first two issues, and then yeah, I got credit officially when I came aboard officially for the last two issues. He just asked the editors like, "Hey, can Dexter just, you mind if Dexter inked the last two issues?" Because yeah, he was just getting caught up. So that's the only reason why I was helping him in the beginning to begin with, just to help him make his deadlines. And he just
So if you
realized,
get
hey, why don't we just
uncredited,
make this official?
right? When you're uncredited though, how does that affect getting compensated, or
Well, I
does it?
mean, he paid me,
He
you
paid you
know,
though.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, he
Well, that's
just paid me directly to ink the pages, and then yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't see any royalties per se from that stuff,
right, because
but
you
the
weren't
last
under
two issues I
contract.
will. Yeah.
Good,
So but yeah,
good,
for
good.
issues 3 and 4, I will. I would. So,
Now,
and
when so Jason was he going to ink himself on the project? Is that
yeah, he was. He
was?
started out inking himself, and
Mhm.
then once the deadlines was starting to hit, and he peeked his head in my office, it's like, hey, can you have time to help me out?
There's a reason we
So
have this studio here, Dex. We're gonna.
right, exactly. So yeah, it worked out. And he actually, because he was inking at that point, he stopped inking with a brush and he was inking all this stuff with a micron. And he asked, he's like, "Can you basically imitate what he was doing with a micron?" I was like, "I can give it the old college try." And he liked what I did, and that's why we just kind of went from there. So
So you had not
yeah.
really used microns before that?
I had, but nothing. I've never inked everything with a micron.
Hmm.
Like usually I'll, switch between micron and a brush and stuff like that. But he was inking everything pretty much with the micron. Um, so I was like, all right, I can do that.
Awesome. Marcus again. Who's the last the face in the last panel? That was kind of the guy sort of narrating the story, at
Yeah,
least at
yeah, he's
least
like
in
this
this
little
issue.
director guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have a New York what is that, a Mets hat on? I can't tell, but or at least an NY hat on. So all right, so that's lot five. Let me go ahead and switch to lot number six. Another different artist here. We have Kyle Holtz. This is from Blackest Night, issue one, page 42. And I know there's several Blackest Night titles that are out there. We've had a few
Yeah.
here that Kyle worked on, but yeah, I thought this was awesome. I had no idea how it was colored until I saw how they changed everything. But the black, obviously the black and white original is awesome, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Kyle's got he's just got a cool style
Yeah, he
to his art.
does. He does. So it was cool to get that call to work with him. I was like, wow, okay, cool. I thought Kyle was always inking himself, so that was a cool surprise to get this gig.
Yeah, I think when he started, I think he was inking himself a lot. Um, but yeah, maybe the more work you got, you got the opportunities here. But like with the McGinnis artwork, it's just your inks are just so damn lush. I mean, they're dark, and just the way you kind of put the extra line work on there to kind of fill out the blacks is just you know I love the style. It just works so well.
Yeah.
And I know that yeah, I've read this story again. I read it once, probably a couple years ago when we had our first pages, but the story's really good too. Uh, Marcus Noe, well, Dexter, the gentleman who had the New York hat on, he was not based on a person in real life, correct?
No.
There you go, Marcus.
Yeah, as
Marcus will
far as I
probably
know,
look
he's
pretty
not. No, he's just some guy. So,
So is this the only thing that you got to work on with Kyle Holtz?
yes, yeah, this is the only thing I've ever worked on with Kyle. Like I said, I think at least I can't recall seeing anybody else ink him. So,
No, that's why, and every time I see this, I think the same thing. I mean, he seems to always ink himself, and
yeah,
rightfully so. He has a very distinct style that
yeah,
it would have been cool to see what the pencils looked like on this, because I don't think I've ever seen any pencils from Kyle before. But I assume you followed it pretty closely, right?
yeah. Everything was pretty indicated there for the most part.
Awesome. Well, let's see. Lot number 7 is next. So we're back to Georges again. The Mace Windu page. This is from issue 2, page 1, and nicely done. Even nicely colored. We don't always say that, but I thought
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
really nice.
A little force action going on.
So I assume George's pencils are pretty tight as well. Like
They're tight enough. They're just tight. His George's is perfect. His is just tight enough where I can kind of go in and play. Um, and that's what I like. I mean, it still looks like George's, and everything is
Mhm.
pretty much there indicated. But he definitely leaves room for inkers to kind of do their thing. So, which is always fun.
So would all the machinery and that engine all be drawn out, or is a
For the
little bit
most
of
part, yeah. I may have added little things here and there, but for the most part, yeah, George's he went for it on this thing. So it was a cool piece.
Well, yeah, I think on certain things because you always read about how Lucas Arts needs to have final approval on stuff, and I know like spaceships have to be accurate,
Yeah.
down to whatever decals and things, and so
Yeah, it's weird the little nitpicky stuff they will see, and it's like nobody's gonna notice that, but they do. So yeah, it is funny.
yeah, that's
We drew one character, he didn't have like the one of the emblems on the uniform wasn't quite right, and I was like more than likely it was gonna be covered by a word balloon.
mhm.
But since they made note of it, we had to take care of it. So yeah,
So what do you
yeah.
get like a scan with a little red line, one of those
Yeah, they have
red.
like they'll circle like little areas, kind of mark little things for you to kind of correct.
Mhm.
So luckily it was only a few here and there. It wasn't a ton, thankfully. But they will notice the little things that you wouldn't think nobody would notice.
Well, I guess that's good. They're protecting the IP.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff Wedding, he says he loves the splash, and he just got his first page from this series in the mail from you last week, Dex.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Jeff is an avid Star Wars fan, among many things. You know, he, he loves
Cool.
Fred Hembeck. He
Aren't
loves
we
Star
all
Wars.
Star Wars fans or Star Trek fans or one or the other?
Exactly.
So,
All
I'm
right.
a
Well,
little bit
this
of
one's
both.
yeah, yeah. No, we've had Hembeck on the show a few times. He's a cut up to listen to, and still is funny. Still has his own way of looking at life and looking at the way he draws the human figure. Now, let's see. So this is lot 7, price is $600. Mace Window 2, page 1. Go ahead and take a look at lot number 7 next. And let me switch the slide. Or I'm sorry, lot number 8. And that is a Buffy cover from season 9, issue 17. George's art again. And I've talked to George's too. He doesn't have a problem with the fact that he's gotten to be one of the guys that gets to draw the likenesses, right?
Oh
The
yeah,
actors,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he he doesn't seem to look at that role as a negative, right? I think it seems like
No,
he
not at
definitely
all.
enjoys
He's
it.
he's totally embraced it. He's totally embraced it. It's weird how, yeah, it seems like a lot of his projects have been based on, IPs like Buffy and Star Wars, and I know there's another one, of course, but it seems like every other project he works on is on based on a on a real IP of some sort, where he has to do likenesses. So
I mean, how does that affect you then? I mean, he's got a pencil, the figure, to be, or their facial features to look right. But then when you're inking it, I mean, do you ever pull up the actor's image on your phone or on the computer and
a
just
little bit, but he generally catches it. I know he said with Sarah Michelle's that was a thing with her nose. So I think initially she was, real particular about her nose. So he was, you know, so he really had to deal with all the headaches. So he worked it all out in pencil. So by the time it got to me, I could just do my inking and keep it moving.
right?
So, and for yeah, he the one
And,
had to go through the upheaval per se.
and probably better for you, right? Because knowing that whatever he was sending you was accurate enough,
Right.
or
They at least been
that
approved. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
it's
so
not
you didn't
so
have
much
to
as like Star Wars. So yeah, I think, like I say, I think initially it was she was real particular with her with
Mhm.
her face or some of her features. So I think once he got that worked out, it was smooth sailing from there.
Well, that's good. So this, and you've had a few covers for Buffy, in your splits with Georges before. So
Yeah.
I know we've had
Yeah.
one or two on the show before.
Yeah. I get every third cover. Um,
Nothing
so
wrong with that. So I
yeah.
think we have one other piece here by Georges too. This is lot number 9. This is from Spike, and it's issue 1, page 1. I tried to find the book, like an image I could pull off of the internet. And I could
Yeah,
not
this
narrow
might
this
have
one
been a
down.
free comic book day thing, maybe. It
Well, there was
may have.
all right, yeah, that I didn't see because I kept trying to search on like a Buffy slash Spike series,
Yeah,
and there
I
were
think
a few
this
where they
was
were in
a
space.
free comic book day thing.
Okay.
So I knew it was something special from what I remember. It wasn't a regular comic.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, they were Alberto wanted to know. Beautiful cover. Sorry, I was not paying. Actually, the first 9 lots tonight, Alberto, are traditional pencils and inks. The following 6 pieces are blue lines with inks over blue lines. So the Buffy cover was done with the George's pencils under it and Dex's inks on top, as is this one, and the 7 before those two. Yeah, we talked about blue lines at the start of the show, Alberto. So you missed out on that part. But yeah, okay. Well, now I know. I was because there was a really fun. I don't know if you inked it or not, but there was a Buffy in space story where it was kind of a riff on Alien, where she was almost like the Sigourney Weaver character, and it was pretty fun. I ended up
yeah.
reading it because while I was trying to find this image, I stumbled on that story. I'm like, oh, this is
uh,
interesting. How are they going to carry this through? And yeah, that would probably honestly be my first Buffy story that I've read.
yeah. So I remember George just wanted to get a little crazy with the detail. I think he even mentioned Travis. He's like, think Travis. Um, when I was inking this. So at least that's my vague remembrance of this of this little project. It was only a few pages, maybe 10. It wasn't a whole issue. Like I said, I
Hmm.
think it was part of Free Comic Book Day. So I think we did like a little quick short story with Spike. Um,
So how do you typically do the Starfields like that? Are you s- spraying a little bit of
I
white out?
use I will splatter before I put anything down. I splatter down what they call, it's basically liquid frisket, and
Hmm.
basically it's just liquid rubber. And I'll splatter that with a toothbrush. You let it dry. Then I go over that with ink. You let it dry, and then you just rub off rub the page, and you rub off that liquid frisket. And what you'll have is the stars. So the white you see is the white from the paper, actually. So
Ah, see,
which is
I'm
cool. You don't have to mask off anything or cover anything up. You can just splatter it, let it go wherever it's going to go. Because once it dries, it just turns into a little rubber pellet that you can just rub off the
Interesting.
page. So yeah, yeah. So that's the stuff I use. Plus, it looks more random, like
Totally
stars.
does. I've got the page in hand right now. I wondered about that because it didn't feel like there was any
Yeah, if you
material.
rub the paper, you can't feel anything. So yeah, that's
No.
because that's the white of the board.
Interesting. So you just masked off the panels.
You don't even have to do that. You don't have to mask
You,
off anything. So like
you
I say,
oh.
once you're done, I'll just fill in the areas because I've already done the borders at that point. So I'll just splatter it,
Ah,
let it dry, then put in the ink, let it dry, and then just rub it off.
got it. Huh. Well, that's Dex, you could write a, little how-to book. You tell it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool. No, I've not heard that before.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Now, who taught you that? I gotta know. I mean, there's
Who did I pick that up from? I wanna. It's been so long now. I would have to guess one of the Gaijin Studio guys, maybe Stale Freeze, or I'm not sure, maybe John Dale or Carl Story. I'm not even sure now. It's been so long. Um, but yeah, I picked that up a long time ago. So yeah, great, great technique.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of different things. Scratching with a blade to get effects, and
Yeah,
of
or
course,
just splatter white paint once you filled in the area. I
right.
know people go in and just dot, some stars in and just manually. So there's no one way. Like I said, I just kind of like this way. A, it's less messy, and B, you get a little bit more randomness with your stars.
Hmm. Awesome. All right, well, this is lot nine, $200, and probably from a free comic book day Spike comic with George's Gentie's pencils on it. Now, the next six pieces are Blue Line and Dex's work on top. So the first one is that Bruce Timm Hulk image, which is people have seen before, or we've seen Bruce Timm Hulks. But I like your approach on this one. Just going in with the green and the purple.
Yeah, I had so it's
Uh,
like I've been playing around with different color inks. I was like, let me get some green ink and some purple ink and play with this. So that is what I did. So I'm just scrolling anytime. I always will, if I see some cool pencils, something cool, I'll just grab it. And when I have time, I like to do a piece over somebody I've never worked with before, like Bruce. And this was a one example of that. So I was like, yeah, let me go. I have some green ink. Let's give it a try.
no, it came out fantastic. Yeah. Now the uh, Bruce Timm draws a great Hulk, and his
Yes.
expressions are just so spot on and very very classic. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
you can.
good guy. I had dinner with him at Emerald City Comic Con years and years and years ago.
Mm,
Cool guy. Always been a fan of his work.
yeah, I've actually never met him. Alberto says blue lines question mark. We need green lines. There you go. You got him here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fun. So yeah, we got this one at $400. It's lot 10. Then another, let's see. We switch over to lot 11. That was the Neil Adams Blue Lines piece with Green Arrow.
Yeah.
I thought this one was great, man. And, and adding in the green highlights on the bow and around him. This was a fun image. Just really
Yeah,
pops.
yeah. So I've got a couple of Neil Adams pieces I grabbed, and this was one of them. And I was just like, oh, this is just too cool. I remember when I first started collecting comics, he was at Continuity, and I remember, when you first get in comics, you always everything is Marvel and DC, and I remember seeing this continuity. I was like, what is this continuity? You know, and I remember looking, I was like, man, this guy is pretty good, but it's not Marvel or DC, so I gotta leave it. I don't know anything about this continuity. So it'll be years
Yeah.
later before I
A lot
really
of
got
a
to
lot of
know Neil
advertising
Adams.
work, right? At continuity. So So he had his hand in pretty much anything that would make money.
Yeah,
From
I
that you
remember they
could.
had these indestructible covers on their comics um, back then, which was, I don't know if it was supposed to be a selling point, but they used to say that, yeah, they are indestructible and you can't tear them.
Huh.
So
If
I
they
was
could
like, okay,
guarantee a 10.0 every time they sold them, they would have made a
I
lot of
guess
money.
so.
Or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can never ding, it will not fade, it will not
No,
scuff. I've not heard
yeah,
that before.
yeah, yeah. I wonder, do they still hold up to these days? I haven't picked up an old continuity comic. I wonder, do they still stand the test of time?
So you're saying like during the Ms. Mystic period in the, that early, I guess that'd be late 80s, wouldn't it? I wonder what era they were promoting a indestructible cover.
Yeah,
I,
this was late '80s. Um,
I,
this is when I came across this. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So.
making a note. I love little trivia things like that. Indestructible covers by Neil.
Yeah,
Cool. Well, this is a great image. I thought even when I saw it, I was like, "Damn, you just have a great design sense, Dex." I mean, we gotten to see some stuff that's just all your pen and ink before, and your work, and no, I love the little touches that you put into the pieces, a little bit of
thank
splattering
you.
around the character, yeah, and again, the green highlight just makes this piece all the more special. Now, the next four pieces are from comics, so but they are Blue Line. This next one is from Wonder Woman 47. It's page 8, and Mr. Mendoka's Blue Lines on it, 11 by 17. I did not read this comic, so I don't know who the gentleman is, but a Wonder Woman on there. I think she was fighting Cheetah or something on this
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
issue.
yeah. That's, I know this issue. They were in the jungle a lot. It's been so long since I've since I've read it.
Right. This is from a few years ago too. That's why I think even this one might have been like 6 or 7 years ago. So
Yeah,
or
this is like 2015,
okay,
2014,
10 years
somewhere in
ago.
there. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Now, when you, I assume for you, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you're working on the blue lines or the pencils, because at the end of the day, as long as especially when you're doing blue lines, you can pretty much work on whatever board you want. So
Yeah.
so you're going to work on something that is easy. It takes the ink the way you want it.
But yeah, because, well, the good thing about Marvel and DC, they have smooth surface and rough surface if you like. So
Hmm.
when I ask for paper, you can request, you know, whether you like the smooth or the rough. Um, I used to love always go towards the rougher surface, but lately I've transitioned to liking the smooth a little bit more now.
I mean,
So
have your tools evolved? I mean, but
no, I
are
use pretty much the same tools over the years. So yeah, I just prefer. I think because the brush slides over the smoother paper easier.
mhm.
Um, I think that's probably the only reason why I like it more. So I don't have to, like with the rougher surface. I have to really make sure your brush is loaded um, pretty good with ink. You get like that kind of dry brush effect if you
Mhm.
don't want it. So I just kind of over the years just started preferring the smoother surface a little bit more.
Well, it makes sense with the rich blacks and everything's really, you don't have really a dry brush effect, at least in the majority. I don't think of anything that I've seen you kind of go at it with that.
Yeah, it's rare. I remember Ed asking me to do some dry brush stuff once here and there, and you'll see some stuff here and there. He's like, "Oh yeah, this would be perfect for some dry brush," but yeah, not too often. I use any dry brush stuff.
Okay. Alberto says that was the variant cover from season 9 of Buffy issue 17. Okay.
Um,
I
um,
will uh I will update my notes on that one. I didn't catch that.
the people know. They know.
Yes.
That's why the Star
Alberto's a
Wars people, they
researcher.
be checking us. It's like, yeah, if we don't see it, the fans are gonna see it and know it.
Sure.
So
All right, we got another page from Mr. Mendoka here. Let me switch over to lot 13. So this is Blue Lines again, but this is from JLA issue 25, page 7. And you get a lot of the team there. Batman in silhouette numerous times, and then I didn't read this one because I could not find this issue either. I was gonna, this is one I was hoping to get the an image with the word balloon.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
what was going on in the story?
Oh, I do not remember. It's been too long. These all
Yep.
blend together at this point.
Hmm.
So
No, I know,
yeah,
and there's a lot of JLA books out there, so I couldn't figure out
yes,
which volume it was from, and it was funny even
yeah.
putting in you and Mendoka's name in there. I couldn't get the right year to come back
Oh
for me,
really? Wow. Yeah.
so I gave up.
I
I was like, all right,
yeah, I can see
the,
that. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
the art will speak for itself.
Because it seems like, yeah, you go to the comic shop and I'll just like, oh, what issue is X-Men on? And it's like
Hmm.
issue 10. It's like, really? You know,
Well,
how many times has this thing restarted? You know?
yes, I know that got me the last time, a few times you go to the comic shop especially with the Marvel titles when they'll have like issue 10, but it'll say, if it's say it's FF, it'll say 615, but it
Okay.
has the 10 and then what it really would be if we would have kept
Right,
with
right.
why they could have just kept with it. I don't get
Right.
it,
Just
but
keep the numbers going. Yeah. So
it's
yeah,
not
I
that
don't get
hard.
it.
You're making
But
it
I
more
think yeah,
difficult
there's
for
some
the fans.
marketing and research like lower numbers sell.
Right. Yeah, well,
And
there is always that, but, future generations will be confused. So
right. Very confused.
alright, we got 2 more pages to look at. Both of these are from Crime Syndicate, and, uh, it's from Kieran McKeown's or, McKone? I'm probably butchering his last name. How do you pronounce his last name?
I think it's McCone, yeah.
McKone, alright,
Yeah,
and,
he's from the
so these are
UK,
Blue
so
Lens.
maybe that makes a difference.
I don't know, I'm terrible. I'm from Ohio, so we mispronounce at least, 40% of people's first or last names. Let's see here. Here you go. 14. This is so Crime Syndicate. This one's from issue 1, and it's page 17. And uh you get Night Owl or Owlman. I'm sorry, breaking.
Yeah, yeah. This is Earth 2, 3. I forget which one.
Yeah, I love
Uh,
the it is snap. That's
yeah, yeah. This was a cool page. It was a fun page. Oh,
yeah. Well, we don't get to see people break necks too often in comics.
right.
And then he shoots the witness. This other guy shoots the witness too. So it's not even
Yeah. Can't have
the
any
you get
witnesses.
this is a twofer right
All
here.
right.
Uh, two deaths. Yeah, Alberto says future generations being confused, present generations are confused by the numbering. Right, I get
Yeah.
it. That's why I didn't want to say it's because of my age that I don't get it, but it is out there. But anyway, fun page if you like your comics with a little bit of morbid,
Little edge, little to
little
'em.
edge, little death. And one more page. This one's got a nice splash of, or kind of a half splash of Donna Troy fighting a Starro in this one. I read this issue. It was very fun, right? So she's,
Yeah.
I think most of the other characters were either taken out or something, and then she comes in and kicks all kind of butt
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
takes care of things. Yeah, I was looking at how they colored it with the lasso there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
It's a
not
fun
bad.
project.
Yeah, this was this was a fun read. I didn't read issue 1 or 2, but when I got to issue 3 with the Starros, I was like, okay, I gotta know what's going on here
All
because
right.
but no, it was a
Yeah.
nicely colored issue too. But the art on it is fantastic, and again, just your usual nice work. And
Thank you.
Marcus, we all know that Dexter did not work on issue of 436 of X-Men. We have somebody trying to complete that book, Dex. So we get the
Oh,
question pops up every show now just for fun because this
gotcha.
we have a fellow collector we're trying to help figure out how to find like another 11 pages from that book. So it's an impossibility.
Oh,
But
wow.
especially on a book that's that old, right? From I
Yeah.
think that's late 80s. Yeah, you're the chances of completing a book like that's old is that old is slim to none.
Hey, but it gives you something to do. Gives you a challenge.
Right, right. You have to have goals as
Sure.
a collector.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, we got through the 15. We're gonna, I could show them all off really quick just to remind everybody, and then we'll get the mailing out sometime this afternoon to remind everybody what the prices were, because the mailings that I sent out earlier didn't have those. We'll let everybody know what's available. If you want to claim anything and you're watching the show after the fact, you can just shoot me an email, bill@comicartfans.com. And yeah, Cohen Marcus, that's right. So here, let me just run through the slides as a reminder. We had the McGinnis Nova 4 page, priced at $400 for lot number 1. The Carlos Pacheco Ultimate Thor page from issue 4. This one was priced at $200. And again, these first two are traditional pencils on board with Dex's inks. Lot 3, Top Mon. This is old enough to still have the word balloons on it, right? So it's from
Hey.
Impulse Adam. Issue 1, priced at $400. And lot 4 is Georges Genti's pencils on this Batwoman 40 title page, but from page 20 of that book. This one's $500. Then we have a Deadpool Wade Wilson's War issue 2 page with Jason Pearson pencils on this one. It's 11 by 17, priced at $400, and it was lot number 5. Then we have a Kyle Holtz Blackest Night page from issue 1, page 42. This one's priced at $300. Lot number 7 is from Ace Window issue 2, page 1. Georges Genti pencils on this one, priced at $600. Then the Buffy cover that we now know is a variant cover to Buffy season 9, issue 17. This one's priced at $800 by Mr. Genti again with Dex's inks. And we have lot number 9. That's free comic book day, most likely. Spike comic. This is issue 1, page 1, priced at $200 for lot 9. Then these are all the blue lines. We have the Bruce Timm Hulk homage piece, priced at $400. A Neil Adams Green Arrow piece at $400 as well. Both of those are on 11 by 17. Then the Mendoka blue lines for Wonder Woman 47, page 8, at $300. Then a Mendoka blue lined JLA issue 25 page for $200. And then we have 2 Crime Syndicate pages surrounded out. That was issue 1, page 17, lot 14, priced at $200. And from Crime Syndicate 3, page 11, lot 15, priced at $300. There, I got it. I can read.
All
I can
right.
read fast.
You sound professional.
I feel like I've done this before.
Like you've done this before.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll get all that out there. And oh, Alberto, just as I'm about to say we'll be signing off, Alberto has picked up the cover. Thank you, Alberto. You got to break
Thank
the
you,
ice.
Alberto.
You are Alberto is well, that actually makes something. I have something I need to send to Alberto, so this works out really well. I'll be able to put
All
it in with
right,
the
see? Love it
package.
when a plan comes together.
Exactly, Alberto, you're the best, man. So thank you for doing that.
Thanks,
We
Alberto.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And let's see, there was a question here from Tom Dexter. Love the Adams Green Arrow you did. I'd like to send you a Garcia Lopez pencil only Superman New 52 style guide. Would love you to ink a copy of that in the same kind of style. Is that something you'd be up for, Dex?
Definitely. Yeah. Hit me up and we can
Okay.
work out the details.
All right. Now, your email's on the website, right? Let me.
Yeah. Or you can contact me directly through on my Instagram or
Oh,
through my
okay.
website. So
All
either
right.
or.
Let me throw the link to your website back into the chat for Tom. And Tom, if you have any issues, I've got Dex's email, so I can definitely put you guys in touch. Tom's got a great collection. He's a great photographer, and
Cool.
yeah, he's a friend of the channel as well. So Alberto, you know how to get in touch with me, so we'll be able to talk about payment after the show. Dex, as always, good best of luck selling the house, man.
Thank
It's
you.
yeah, and I'm glad you're staying in the area. I'm glad you're staying busy, getting out the
Yeah,
shows,
yeah.
and I look forward to whenever this next project comes around. If there's anything that we can do for you here on the channel or through CAF, as far as promoting anything, just let me know.
Will do. Will do. Thank you, Bill. As
And you're getting a
always.
shout. You're getting a shout out from Belgium.
Oh, hey, welcome, Belgium. Hello.
Always fun. That's why we do these things in the afternoons on Saturday, so we can get a more
Very cool.
global feel.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
everybody. So listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Dex, as always, man, it's great hanging out with you. I'm glad I got to see you at Heroes. I know
Definitely,
that,
definitely.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if anybody's knows Dex is at a show, be sure to hit him up, say hi. Oh, and bring a comic or two to be signed.
Right. Do that.
And pick up artwork at his table while you're there.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you again later, everybody. Have a good weekend. See ya.
Take care.